Georgia views marriage as a team effort where both players contribute to their shared life, regardless of whose name is on the paycheck. Getting divorced in Georgia? Don't overlook your restricted stock units, those allocations that are like little trees planted for you by your company, just waiting to someday bear fruit. Navigating a divorce in Georgia can feel like trying to find your way through a dense forest, especially when it comes to splitting assets. And if you've got restricted stock units, also called RSUs, in the mix, well, that's like figuring out how to share a collection of fruit-bearing trees that mature and bear fruit at differing time intervals. So, what's a restricted stock unit? Well, imagine your company gives you a little tiny sapling. This isn't just any tree. This is a promise of future wealth, a tree that will bear fruit, but only after a few years. That's your RSU, restricted stock unit. The catch with these trees is that when you're walking through the dense divorce forest, deciding who gets what, these trees become a major point of discussion and sometimes contention. Why? Because they're not just simple savings or straightforward assets. They're potential future wealth, and how to divide them requires a good bit of finesse and a good understanding of Georgia's divorce laws. Let's talk about the tale of Sam and Alex, who find themselves trying to fairly divide their forest, which includes a few of these special trees. Sam, working at a buzzing tech startup, received several RSUs over the years. Alex, a dedicated teacher, didn't have these RSUs, but contributed in countless other ways to their shared life. When they went through their divorce, the question wasn't just about who gets the house or the car, but also about how to divide the potential fruits of Sam's RSUs. Georgia views marriage as a team effort where both players contribute to their shared life, regardless of whose name is on the paycheck. This means everything accumulated during the marriage, including any saplings that have been planted, those are the RSUs, are considered as part of the marital forest. But here's the tricky part. Not all of Sam's trees are automatically split, and they will bear their fruit at differing times, perhaps years down the road, whereas some may be ready to bear fruit within just a few months. So in the divorce process, the parties, or perhaps the court, need to examine which trees were planted during the marriage and which are close to bearing fruit, i.e. vested, and which ones are still years away from being ready. That would be considered unvested RSUs. Then the issue that comes up is, should a soon-to-be former spouse receive a portion of the future fruit from the saplings which, in this metaphorical example, are so far away from bearing fruit? Back to the story. As Sam and Alex's journey through the divorce forest continued, with the guidance of their attorneys, they learned that only the trees that were fully grown and bearing fruit during their marriage, those would be the vested RSUs, were going to be considered marital property by the court during their divorce. They learned from their attorneys that the saplings would take years to bear fruit, long after the divorce, and they might not be split due to the amount of time and the tilling and the fertilization and the care needed to get them to that point. This is a metaphorical way of saying that if the maturity date of the restricted stock units is very far away and requires a lot more service of the divorcing spouse after the divorce, they might not be considered as part of the marital estate, even though some portion toward their eventual vesting has elapsed. So with this knowledge, Sam and Alex decided to negotiate a fair path through their forest. They understood that while some of their trees were clearly for both of them, others belonged more to the future than to their shared past. They worked out an agreement on dividing the forest, and in crafting their settlement agreement, Sam and Alex weren't just dividing trees, they were acknowledging the roles that they had both played in their marriage. They found a way to respect their past efforts and plan for their own futures, ensuring that the fruits of their labor were being shared fairly. What I want you to take away from this video is that when restricted stock units are part of your shared assets, remember this: it is essential to understand not just how to divide the static divorce assets such as vehicles and homes and 401ks and furniture, but also how to put a value on the assets with laddered time-based maturity dates such as restricted stock units. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to click subscribe, like, follow, and turn on the alerts so that you'll get notified when we post our newest videos. Please share these videos and leave us some comments, ask us questions, tell us what other topics you'd like for me to talk about. Join our Facebook group at Georgia Divorce and Custody for even more information. And as always, I look forward to seeing you on the next video.